Okay, so we are talking about the houses ruled by Mars and Sun, the Kendra houses. The first house is ruled by Sun. The next Kendra house, Mars, is ruled by the next Kendra house is ruled by Mars. The next Kendra house is ruled by Saturn, the seventh house. It also rules the eighth house, and Mars also rules the ninth house. Okay, so when we are judging any combination, when we are judging what would be the best combination for Leo ascendant, there has to be an involvement of Mars. There has to be an involvement of Mars. Why? Because Mars is ruling the Kendra, the fourth, as well as the ninth house of the horoscope. Okay, it has that, mm, you know, it becomes Yoga Karaka planet for Leo ascendant because of the lordship of one trine and one Kendra. So we have to look for the involvement of Mars for all the conjunctions. Okay, so what would be the conjunctions, the best conjunctions for the Leo ascendant? For Leo ascendant, even if you have Mars alone in your chart, it becomes Yoga Karaka and gives great results. Suppose you have Mars into the first house in Leo with no afflictions, with no aspects, conjunction, or association, it will work great. Okay. Now, the important planets for the Leo ascendant becomes the Sun, Jupiter, and Mars. Okay, so any combination of Sun with Mars, Jupiter, or Sun, Mars, Sun, Jupiter, or Mars alone, or Mars and Jupiter will be great combinations for Leo ascendant. Now let's look at some of the questions. Now let us talk about the questions on a community tab. And let me share the screen again. The first question we have received is from Harshit Tayal. Venus and Mars conjunction in the 10th house, and Saturn in the ninth house, and Rahu in the first house, and Ketu in the seventh house, Jupiter in the eighth house, Moon in 12th, Sun and Mercury conjunct in 11th house. Which field should I go in chartered accountant career? It's not possible to tell you about this. You need to look for the D10 chart as well for this. But again, your Mars, we're talking about the conjunction of Mars. See, you have Mars and Venus conjunct here. Let me do this. You have Mars and Venus here. Now a yoga karaka planet conjunct the 10th house and the 10th lord as well. Okay, so during the dasha mahadasha or antradasha of the Venus and Mars, you will experience the growth. Okay, look for the antradasha and dashas of these two planets. Again, Jupiter is in 8th, Moon in 12th, Sun and Mercury conjunction in the 11th. Again, the Lagna Lord is going into the 11th house of gains. Okay. Next is Arjuna Vijayan Singhe. Arjuna Vijayan Singhe. He's saying, I hope Libra Ascendant Moon and Saturn conjunction, Capricorn house. Arjuna, we are talking about the Leo Ascendant today. If you have any question around the Leo Ascendant, please put them into the comment box or a live chat. Okay. We have some questions on live chat. What about Mars, Sun, Jupiter in 11th house for Leo Ascendant? Ahona Mukherjee. Ahona ji, yes, it would be a great combination when you have a planets, when you have planets, see, the Lord of the Lagna going in here, Sun, Mars, the 4th Lord, the 9th Lord, and the trinal Lord, along with the 8th Lord going into the 11th house of gains. So I would see this as a good combination for you. A Yoga Karaka planet, the Kendra house planet, like Mars, is conjunct with Sun. I see this as a strong combination for your chart. Next question is from Pranay Verma. Sun, Mercury, Jupiter conjunct in 4th house in Anuradha Nakshatra with aspect of Saturn and Mars on them. See, whenever you have, he is saying he is having Sun plus Mercury plus Jupiter here into the Anuradha Nakshatra, aspected by Mars and Saturn, and we don't know whether they are in mutual aspect or aspecting through their special aspects, but we consider it as they are aspecting it. The ruler of the sign is Mars, which is a Yoga Karaka planet, and now it is aspecting it. And what are the planets? We have the Lagna Lord place in here, we have the 11th Lord place in here, and we have the trinal Lord, the 5th Lord place into the 4th house. So this combination again will work great for Leo Ascendant. Okay, though Jupiter is ruling the 8th house of your horoscope, its association with the Lagna Lord and its aspect, it receiving aspect from a Yoga Karaka planet Mars will allow it to work on its higher plane. Now let us talk about the next question. Okay, let me check the live chats. We need, what about Mars Jupiter conjunction in the 10th house for Leo? Yes, we need Mars Jupiter again. See, Mars Jupiter conjunction we need. If you are talking about Mars and Jupiter here, Mars plus Jupiter, what's happening here for you? It's now the ruler of the 4th, 9th, 5th, and 8th coming in here. And if it is receiving an aspect from Sun, which is the Lagna Lord, or it is associated with the Lagna Lord, then it will perform even better. But yes, Mars and Jupiter, Mars gets the directional strength here. It is a Yogakaraka planet and it's conjunct with the trinal lord in the Kendra Sthan. It makes it strong. So you can expect good results with this combination as well. Okay. So the next question is, where is the Q&A of Cancer Ascendant Infinity Warrior? We have already uploaded it into the playlist. Like you can go and check the live streams. You will get the Cancer Ascendant Q&A or a post in the community tab. Nitesh, query to understand a principle. For example, for Venus, second house is considered a good place. However, for Leo Ascendant, second house is Virgo, where Venus is debilitated. So, is Venus good or bad for this position? Let's put that here. Now, Nitesh is saying he is having Venus here. Okay, and Venus gets debilitated. Okay, and I suppose that you have checked all the cancellations and it is still debilitated, and we have to see what exactly would it mean, right? Okay, so yes, Venus is in here and it is not getting any aspects. So what's happening here is the 10th lord is going in here along with the third lord. Okay, so the 10th lord is the lord of your work, your career. Okay, and the third lord is the lord of your courage, your ability to work, to uh, you know it's the self effort and courage. And now these two energies are coming into the house of your resources and is debilitated. Okay, so you will experience this as you will have to put in more effort. It won't be an easy uh, task for you to have resources. To have more resources, you have to put in extra work because the involvement of the 10th and the third lord. But yes, the lord of the 10th house going into the second house is good for your finances. Even though it is debilitated, it is trying to the 10th house, and it is uh, it is into the 5th house from the 10th house, so it does great for the 10th house significations. Next is, does the analysis remain the same for the 5th house, 5th Rahu and 11th Ketu if Mars conjunct with Ketu in the 11th? No, it won't remain same. Why would it remain same? It definitely will change, because I don't know if that Rahu is lord of which planet and which ascendant you're talking about, but if it is the lord of any of the Rahu Ketu, suppose you have Rahu into the Scorpio and Ketu into the Taurus, and now you have the Ketu conjunct Mars into the sign of Taurus. So the lord of the Rahu is coming into the house of Ketu, or the 10th lord is coming in the conjunct Ketu, or the 5th lord, 12th lord, 8th lord is coming into the and conjunct Ketu. So all these things will most definitely change the scenario, change the interpretation for us. Next is BM. What would be the result of first Sun and Saturn conjunction in the 7th house? Second, Venus and Mercury conjunction in the 6th house. Rahu in the 3rd house, Ketu in the 9th house. First is Sun and Saturn conjunction in the 7th. For Leo, if we have Sun plus Saturn. So now the Lord of the first and the sixth is coming into the seventh house. Okay, and it is Sun is into the enemy sign and Saturn is in its own sign. But when a planet goes into the seventh house, the ascendant lord, I can see this as a conjunction which will help you to rise in your profession, because the seventh house is also the 10th from the 10th. Seventh house is, if we count it from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the 10th house is the ultimate house of career. And now you have the planet of career here with the ascendant lord into the seventh house. So with difficulties, because these two are enemy planets, they don't get along well with each other. Now they will, with difficulty or challenges, it will help you to rise in your career. Next is Venus Mercury conjunction in the sixth house. Let us see what happens if you have Venus here plus Mercury. Venus Mercury conjunction. So now the third lord and the 10th lord and the 11th lord and the second lord is coming into the sixth house. If it is getting any aspect from Mars or any aspect from any trinal lord, this can work best because these two are friendly planets, and you will gain even from your enemies. The lord of the 11th house gains is going into the sixth house of obstacles, okay, and enemies. So you can look at this from this perspective as well. But yes, it has to connected with Sun or Mars. It will work great with any of the aspect from Jupiter or Mars to this combination. Next is Swami SR. Good evening, sir. I'm Leo native. 8th house conjunct with the 12th, no malefic. Moon is Vargottama. Swami, it's not possible to, read or look at the charts. But if you have any question, you can share them. So the next is Suchishmita Datta. What happens when Rahu is in the first, Leo, and Sun is in 11th, Gemini, conjunct Mars? How is the married life of a person would be like? Depositor of Ketu is in Aries. When a Lagna Lord goes into the 11th house, it is a good sign for the chart. And when it is conjunct, but when it conjuncts the Sun, it the self-defining factor of Sun is now conjunct with the amplifying Rahu. So you have to guard against the ego. You have to guard yourself against self-esteem. When you get when your ego gets amplified, it can hamper your progress or it can hamper your labha. Okay, and the Rahu in the first house and Ketu in the seventh house, we have made a separate videos on it. Go and watch that. But the thing is, you always have to work on yourself. You have to be easy on the relationships. You don't have to be absolute about the relationships. You have to focus on yourself, your femininity, and then your relationships will improve. We have talked about this at length in the Rahu in the first house video. Okay, the next is Shivani Shukla. So Rahu in the seventh house with Mars, Jupiter in the ninth. Saturn in the 5th, Sun in the 10th, Mercury and Venus in the 11th. Okay, so just look for the association of Mars. Shivani ji, I am not able to visualize these combinations, but just look for the trine and Yogakaraka planet association for this. I'm sorry, I apologize. I could not, visualize it and could answer your queries. But I might come back and, reply to you. The next is Kanan East. Parivartan Yoga between the 4th house and the 6th house. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Saturn, Ketu in Scorpio 4th house. Mars and Jupiter in Capricorn. And is it the divorce indication? No planet in the 7th house. Venus is in Sagittarius. You have a Yogakaraka planet exalted, conjunct with another trine lord. This is the strength of this placement. And for divorce indication, we have made a separate video on it. You have to look for the lord of the 7th house and its conjunctions and aspects and applications to it. All this on the background of the Mahadashas. Okay. Let me see if I can. Okay. Esla Mar Bennett, Leo ascendant with Mars, Mercury, Ketu, and Sun in 12th, Jupiter, Venus in the 10th. Okay. So when you have Jupiter and Venus in the 10th house, the trinal lord goes into the 10th house, it becomes a powerful yoga. And when you have Sun and Ketu conjunct with the 12th house, it will make you, work more on yourself. You might want isolation, like all the self-defining factors, like Sun is conjunct with the Ketu, which is all about giving up. The next, Paromita Roy, sir, what about Leo ascendant with Mars, Mercury, and Venus in the 12th house? Okay. Mars, Venus, and Mercury in the 12th house. Mars, Mercury, Venus in the 12th house. Okay. So now when you have in this combination, the most important thing to look for is you have planet which is Yogakaraka is conjunct with the 10th lord into the 12th house. And 12th house has many significations. Along with the loss of energy, it also relates to the foreign things and spirituality. By the way, Venus does great job into the 12th house. So look for the moon, and if moon is anyway connected to the trinal lord or any aspect from the Jupiter to this 12th house, in fact, these three combinations can work better for you. Next, Kishore Ashokan. Sir, Leo ascendant with retrograde Saturn in the 1st house, 11th Lord Mercury in the 5th, 5th Lord Jupiter in the 11th, and 10th Lord Venus and ascendant Sun in the 6th house. Okay, so you have exchange of the 5th and 11th house. You have 5th Lord into the 11th and 11th Lord into the 5th house. So it is a great combination for you. Next is Boundless. You skipped my question. Please share your thoughts on Saturn, Sun, Venus, Jupiter conjunction in the 3rd house, Libra, aspected by Rahu. I did not get Boundless. Which question I skipped? You are talking about the Leo? Please put in the comment. The Kalyani Krishna. For Leo ascendant, Saturn Ketu conjunction in the 8th house. For Leo ascendant, Saturn Ketu conjunction in the 8th house, aspected by Mars from the 1st house, Jupiter in the 6th house, Capricorn. Someone said chance of 2 marriages. When you have Mars in here and Saturn Ketu here, and you have Jupiter here, so you have Rahu here. Okay, when you have Ketu here, Rahu goes exactly opposite 180 degrees. Okay, so for this, the most important thing is you have to look for the Saturn. Saturn is getting an aspect from a planet which is a Yoga Karaka planet. It is a malefic, but it is for the Leo ascendant, aspect of Mars is crucial. It brings in the positive aspect to that conjunction. When you have Saturn and Ketu, when you have Saturn in the 8th house, in fact, it is second to the 7th house, right? And when you have Saturn second to the 7th house, which is the house of your resources to your partner, I don't see it as, any chance of a second marriage. It can be, but you have to look for the dashas for this. Okay, because I always believe that your chart shows what, and your dashas will tell you when. But from this, the aspect of Mars or the debilitation of Jupiter, you have to look it in depth in D9 chart as well. You also have to confirm this from moon chart as well. You have to look for the source of strength for Saturn in D9 chart to confirm before you jump to the conclusion. And